done it! I cannot believe it! I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again!
Hello everyone, we are Through on Goal, a podcast where we talk about football and pretty much nothing else. My name is Sam, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host and very best friend, Elliot. Hi, Elliot.
Hi, hello, Sam.
How are you? Very hungover.
Yeah, delicate. I mean, yeah. How are you?
Cool. It's good to see what contribution we're going to get from you in this episode. Yes, I'm okay, yeah. I've had a cracking week.
Nice.
Very tired now, but yeah. Looking forward to Friday now.
Yes, yeah, chance to have a bit of a housewarming, bit of celebration. Moving
That's
on
it.
Tuesday as this goes out, but...
Yeah, I don't know if we've mentioned, but Elliot is moving, and this is our final episode over video call. The next episode you hear from us will be together in the Through on Goal office, Elliot's spare room.
Yeah.
But we call it the Tog office, and that is when the quiz will return. It's kind of pointless now, but we'll still do it. We'll still do it. It's a monthly thing. But yeah, we're looking forward to it. So Elliot, obviously on our final week of football where we've watched separately, West Brom kind of played football for the first time in a while. Not Sam Allardyce style football.
No,
They were playing some really good football.
Yeah, some of the goals, just the in and out passing. I mean, I know obviously West Brom had the extra man, but the quick passing and quick in and out play that they were playing was more sort of reminiscent of a Guardiola team than a Big Sam team. It was a weird one, but they got a hell of a result in the end.
Well, you're telling me. When you look back on the goals, all of them were were really some tiki-taka style of play, really was. I'd argue that, is it Diagne or... Diagne. Maybe his shot should have been saved. It was kind of hit into the ground. I get Mendy's going one way, but... I don't know, I didn't think the shot was hit with enough, but I've not seen a team collapse like that, though, when they've gone down to 10 men. Granted, Thiago Silva seems to just not want to play against West Brom. He does everything he can to try and not play against them.
Because he got sent off in the reverse fixture, didn't he?
No, he gave away one of the goals. He was
yeah,
big.
of course. That was 3-3. It's how come these Chelsea West Brom games are absolute classics?
They'll be picked for Sky. Well, West Brom. Let's face it, they're not going to be in the Prem next year.
Probably,
but otherwise they'll be shooing for Sky Sport games. Yeah. But doesn't that kind of thing? If I was a West Brom fan, seeing that, I think I'd be like 70% happy, but 30, like a good percentage of me would be like, why are we in the relegation zone beating Chelsea, unbeaten in 14 games? He just won Manager of the Month. They hadn't conceded at home since the FA Cup 4th round or something stupid like that. And they've just knocked 5 past them. Why are we in the bottom 3?
Why has it taken 30 games for them to bring out a performance?
A performance where I would not have watched that thinking that West Brom were second from bottom, only won 4 games all season.
No.
West Brom, they are 8 points from safety, and they do have 1 game over Fulham, but Newcastle sit just above the relegation zone on 29 points, played the same amount of games as West Brom. I think they're down. I think them and Sheffield United are a shoo-in. They're in the they're playing championship football next season.
I'd agree with you there, and especially with the goal difference being what it is. I mean, they've got 14 worse goal difference than the worst team above them, really, and so they've got to get an extra point because of their goal difference. But yeah, it must be frustrating for them because 20% of their goals all season came yesterday afternoon.
Yes, they've only scored 25 goals the whole season. That's not good enough, is it? But I was so shocked when the 5th one went in, because it was so the cheek of it just to throw on goal every Tuesday, tell your friend, and he lifts it over the keeper. He's like, yeah, get down.
Yeah.
and Mendy, who arguably has been a very, very good signing. I think a lot of controversial potentially, but I think a lot of Chelsea's clean sheets do come more from the defence and the goalkeeper. Don't get me wrong, I think he's a very good goalkeeper. I think he's more reliable, I'd say, than Kepa, but I don't think he's like the best. This clean sheets and stuff, I don't think he's completely. I've not seen him make saves which are like, if he weren't in goal there, they'd be they'd lost that game, if you know what I mean. Maybe one.
I'd argue there was a Leeds game a little while back and he made a couple of very good saves.
But the defence seems to, like Azpilicueta, Christensen seems to have really cut. Thiago Silva, those 3 at the back really have formed this really solid partnership.
Yeah, I'd agree. Although I do think maybe he's a little bit better than you are giving him credit for. And yeah, because he wasn't a massively expensive goalkeeper, at least when you got Kepa sitting on the bench. But I think he's been very, very good.
I think he's been very good. But obviously we're coming in comparing him to Kepa, who
was not
very good.
Yeah.
No, and I just think with how Tuchel has really transformed the defensive side of things, I believe the defence feel better with Mendy in goal. But I do think all these clean sheets have more to do with the defence, maybe more than his goalkeeping performances. He's made some saves. He's good, but that's where I'm coming from. I don't doubt for a second he's a very, very good keeper. He's only young.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. He could be Chelsea number one if he stays like this for the next 10 years potentially. So we shall see. But obviously conceding 5 against West Brom isn't an amazing.
It's got to be probably one of his lowest moments at Chelsea.
Yeah, no, I agree. Timo Werner. So we've all seen the miss that he did midweek. We've all seen it.
I can't get over that. He's right-footed and he goes with his left foot. I mean, the right foot is the obvious option anyway. He just snatched at it and put it wide.
Yeah.
Score it.
Fair play to Tuchel. He's fully supportive of his play. He said it was a bad pass. It wasn't, but, it's fine. You support your player. Now, their goal, Mason Mount, to score the second goal, commentators, everyone was like lauding Timo Werner, being like, so unselfish. What a great... I think that's confidence.
Yeah,
I don't
that's a lack of confidence.
Yeah. If he's scoring 20-odd goals or something like that this season already, he's not passing that. He's not thinking about shooting. He doesn't want to miss, so he plays it safe and gives it to Mount, who was stretching for it in coming in.
Do you think Kane passes there? Do you think
no chance.
Salah passes? Well, Salah doesn't pass anyway, let's be honest.
Salah doesn't pass.
But yeah, a confident striker doesn't pass there.
No, It's quite of a rock and a hard place in a way, because he did kind of stop it and pass. He did find the pass to score the goal, which fair enough, because he could have easily have just stopped it, panicked, or kick it away, kind of thing. So he did stop it, pass it to Mount, but you're number 9, you're striker. You don't stop and pass it when you are just you and the keeper. You don't. And he's off. I don't know what is. Only he knows what's going on in his head. But he's got that vision, doesn't he? Like Germany, that what's just happened. That ball coming in from the left. Him wanting to tap it with his right, and he doesn't. I don't think that. He's got an assist though, so well done. But that's my personal opinion anyway.
Yeah.
Elliot, while we are on the topic of competent strikers, I think one of the Premier League's most competent strikers, I think it's fair to say, Sergio Aguero is leaving Man City. It's probably one of football's worst kept secrets, because it seemed like it was going to happen from the beginning of the season when he just wasn't starting.
Yeah.
And we even said it not long ago in the podcast. We were thinking to ourselves, we were saying to ourselves, why isn't he starting? There was no feasible reason. Has obviously come out today and announced that he is going to be leaving at the end of the season. Now, what are your initial thoughts on that?
My initial thought is that you can't. I just think they should keep him a little longer. He should be maybe down to second choice. Obviously, there's links. They want Haaland supposedly, and Haaland at this moment in time is a better striker than Aguero. So yeah, but I just think he should stay, and it should kind of be his decision on when to go. He's earned it, and he's 4th top scorer in Premier League history.
Yeah. It's a weird one, because I agree with you that I would like to have seen him stay at Man City. Do Man City need him though, or does he need Man City? I don't think it's either, but if you had to choose, look at Man City without Aguero this season.
Yeah.
They've really shown what a lot of teams in Premier League, probably Tottenham most in particular, that they're not. They are still a team without their main guy. And, they've really shown that this season by absolutely running away with the league. So I see it, and obviously that's wages off the books as well to bring in someone. And he isn't playing, you know, and but I still don't get, because he had an injury. I think he did have an injury a bit earlier on in the season, but I still can't fully understand why he has just been frozen out and then then not renewing his contract, because he is still a very, very good striker. He's still one of the best strikers. Like, if you start him, obviously maybe not based on yesterday's performance, but we won't go there. I still think he starts in 9, like, I don't know, for argument's sake, let's say 17 of the 20 Premier League teams. He's starting.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't quite get my head around why he's just been frozen out. Like all of a sudden he just can't play football anymore, which I don't believe for a second.
Yeah, no, I understand that, and I don't quite understand why he's been frozen out when he's as prolific as he is. I think only...
Is he better than Jesus?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, exactly.
Jesus is the kind of player, though, that you never actually see him score, but he ends the season with 20 goals. But yeah, it's just sad to see him go as well. It's obviously massive part of the Premier League over the last 10 years.
Well, are we going to see him go? That's the question. Because there are some talks. There are all around the rumour mill that obviously Chelsea are one of the teams that would take him. And I can see him working in that Chelsea team. I really can. Arsenal, but I don't know. No, let's face it, they're not getting Aguero. And I think Barcelona were talks. Could go back to Atletico, him and Suarez up top. That's dangerous.
Yeah.
You get them both on form.
I can't see him moving to another Premier League club. I just can't see it happening. I just think when you've been at one club for so long, and he's probably, well, one of him, company, or David Silva, who they're getting statues of, would be their best player probably in the club's history. So I don't think that you do that and then move to another Premier League team, particularly as a foreign player as well. If it's an English player, you're just moving on kind of a bit more naturally. But I can see him. I can see it being Barcelona, because Barcelona are pretty skint, and so him being available on a free would be big for them. And also supposedly he's best mates with Messi, and if Messi's going to stay with the new president that Barca have in, then I can see that being a big factor in him moving.
PSG when Mbappe goes, because if Messi does go to PSG, that's
Messi,
Mbappe and Neymar. No, Messi, Aguero and Neymar, sorry.
It'd be good. Although, you've got to think that, although that is very deadly and they will all score goals, it's quite ageing, or at least two of them are.
Well, good point. PSG won't care. They're getting that merchandise with that front three, aren't they? That'd be good to see. But no, he is responsible for the Premier League's greatest moment, I think.
Oh yeah.
I
don't even think anything else comes close.
I can't. Right now, just a moment that defines it's not just the Premier League, a moment that defines why we love football. Not Man United fans, of course, they probably didn't like it as much as we did, but it's one of those things that you remember exactly where you were when that goal went in. I know where I was. I know where I was. Did you know? Yeah, exactly. One of the Premier League's greatest moments of all time. And
Balotelli's only ever Premier League assist.
And he scored against Paddy Kenny.
Yeah.
Against QPR in a game where Joey Barton decided he wanted to take out the whole Man City.
The whole of Manchester.
It was bonkers game, but yeah, he is. I'm glad his, because obviously David Silva was a fairly quiet send off. Vincent Kompany scored one of the best goals defenders ever scored in the history of the Premier League. So that was his farewell, and obviously we'll see if Aguero can say goodbye to Man City by winning the Champions League. I mean, there's your trophy. There's your statue, sorry.
Yeah.
Elliot, let's talk about Liverpool. Obviously they got back to winning ways against Arsenal. Quite comfortable 3-0. But that's not really what I want to talk about. Firmino and Jota, I think, is really, for me, the main talking point from here. Don't get me wrong, Firmino had a competent game. Do you know what I mean? I love the word competent today.
Yeah.
I learnt it the other day and I'm just using it every time. But no, I should say that. Hello, we're through on Goal, a podcast where we talk about football and pressure, not nothing else. My name is Sam, as always, I'm joined by my competent friend, Elliot. Hello, Elliot. But no, obviously, Firmino didn't have the worst game. You know, he was contributing. You know, he had an alright game. He completed the most dribbles of the match. Whew. But yeah, Jota comes on, pretty much scores about 3 or 4 minutes after he comes on and then scores at the end. Is there room in that team to play both of them, or are we forcing Klopp to pick pick one? Sorry.
I think if you play both of them, Firmino's got to drop into a 10.
And who are you dropping? You dropping Thiago, Wijnaldum? Well, yeah,
If it was from yesterday's 11, I'd be dropping Milner from that. So you'd have a midfield three of Fabinho, Thiago, and Fabinho.
Okay, no, I can see that. I can. So like, have Firmino as like a cam, so a 4-3-3-ish attack.
Yeah,
we're talking FIFA terms.
Yeah, if we're talking FIFA, yeah.
Firmino at cam, that's fair. Does he suit a cam?
I mean,
does he suit a centre forward?
They bought him as a cam, didn't they?
I thought it was a centre forward, personally. I don't know.
But I'm pretty sure they brought him as a cam, and then he was kind of converted by Klopp, kind of false nine and everything like that.
Oh right, yeah, that's fair enough then. Yeah, there's no doubt about his ability, Firmino. There's just no question. He is so technical. He could be a game changer. But Jota's scoring your goals.
Yeah, you just can't ignore the numbers.
Games.
Jota was on the pitch for less than half an hour, and he scored twice and won the game.
So, your personal opinion, if you had to pick one.
Jota.
No, fair enough.
Yeah, no question for me.
There.
No question for me. What about you?
Jota, yeah. No, I was going to say Jota as well.
Yeah.
I think, it's weird, I think for me, no, I can't say that he doesn't suit this side because he has suited this side for 5 years that he's been in it. Do you know what I mean? It's not like a case of, he's never fit, because you don't stay in that spot. But has he stayed in that spot because there's been no one better than him in that position now?
Particularly in that kind of role as well, because their alternative before Jota was Origi, who is a very different style of player. He's more of a target man. You aim for his head. You can't aim for his feet. But yeah, I think I could possibly see Firmino going in summer.
Oh, hello. Off the press.
No,
ITK, Elliot.
No, I just think...
Or is that just you guessing?
No, that's just sort of gut feeling. Because...
And would you replace him? Would you replace him, or has he been replaced?
Yeah, I think he's been replaced.
I did the Oprah Winfrey. I did the Oprah Winfrey thing there. People, we don't record these yet, but when we do.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think he's already been replaced by Jota. I think Jota will be a starting striker. That front three, Mane, Jota and Salah, can pretty much play anywhere across that front three. I'm sure they'll just interchange.
But will Salah go in the summer? And if Salah goes, do you keep Firmino? Can Firmino play on the wing?
If Salah goes, Jota goes on the wing.
And Firmino stays up top.
But
you're still stuck. You're still the same. It's still the same. It hasn't solved any problems really, then, have you?
The thing, I think Liverpool have sort of come into a bit of a crossroads at the moment where they've had success and they kind of need the team's not getting any younger. It's like Salah's 28, and if they keep hold of him a couple of extra seasons, is anybody going to buy a 30-year-old whose the legs go eventually? And Salah is, although he is a very, very good finisher, his game's built on pace. So
pace, yeah.
And as most modern football teams are, Liverpool is a business and needs to have turnover. So yes, I can see Salah go. I mean, the one that I don't think will go is Mane, because I've said that Firmino will go. I've said that Salah will go. So
the whole front three just goes.
Yeah, just get rid of them.
Something, wouldn't it? I'll tell you who I feel sorry for in this whole situation though with Liverpool is Ben Davies.
Not played.
Poor bloke. He signed from Preston. Dream move to Liverpool, thinking, I'm going to be their saviour for all their defensive problems. And then Liverpool have gone, Nat Phillips, who we already have, he's all right, isn't he? And everyone else has been like, yes, yes, he is. Anchor back, give him a few games in centre-back. He seems to have settled well.
Yeah.
So I feel sorry for Ben Davies, because I did look it up. He's not even injured. He's just not being picked.
He wasn't even in the 18 yesterday.
No.
I mean, one person who I thought had a very good game yesterday was Trent Alexander-Arnold as well. I think the break has really helped him. He's had no
knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and I suppose it could have gone one way or the other with him being dropped from the England squad. He could have kind of taken it personally, and performance could have dropped. But he looked very good yesterday.
Yeah, there's no chance.
Much more like the Trent we've known over the last few years.
Yeah, there's no chance he's not going to the Euros.
Oh, yeah.
There's no chance. So, Elliot. Didn't mention Happy Easter. Which leads me on to this. We talk about great comebacks on Easter. Oh, Jesus, on the Friday, came back on the Sunday. What a comeback. And then he just disappeared. No one's heard from him since. No. We still talk about him.
He's playing for Man City.
He gave us chocolate egg. Yeah, he gave us chocolate eggs, though, so you can't. Can't say fairer than that. Fair play, Jesus. I'll get presents every year because of him, and we get chocolate eggs every year because he decided he wanted to wake up from his hangover and disappear.
And yeah, I mean, we're going completely off topic here, but I don't know how the second coming of Christ matches in with the Easter Bunny, but...
Well, what does Santa Claus come in? There you go, he's old Jesus' dad. You heard it here first. They're on Goal Exclusive. Anyway, let's talk about football and pretty much nothing else. Yeah, Santa Claus is God. You heard it here first, kids.
We asked the real questions here.
Today, every team that seemed to go behind today, they've come back. Oh, Spirit of Jesus. You had Southampton 2-0 down, beating Burnley 3-2. You had Newcastle 2-1 down, getting a draw against Tottenham. You had Fulham 1-0 up because Tyrone Mings decided he wanted to play a cracking through ball to Mitrovic to carve open his own defence. And then you had Brighton going 1-0 up because Welbeck seems to score against Man United more times than he ever scored for Man United.
Yep.
And obviously, all three Manchester United Academy graduates scored in that game of Rashford and Greenwood.
Yeah.
Fun fact for you.
United have a ridiculous sort of knack at winning games from losing positions. I think they've won something like 25 points from losing positions this season.
They are, but they can't win games, if that makes sense.
They've just won 2-1.
No, but they've won it because they've been behind. But
they can't just
win a game.
They can't just be comfortable. They can't just go 2-0 up, sit on it, win the game.
That's it. They're 14 points behind Man City, which
is not getting overturned.
I think Man City need 11 more points to get the title. It's weird. There's only 8 more games left.
Yeah,
that's mental, isn't it?
It's been a really quick season, and I can see that years down the line, it'll be one of the lesser spoken about seasons. I don't think it's been particularly memorable.
No, it's just been football every day, which I've enjoyed. I don't think the players have, but we certainly have the content that we've got for the past year. We've kept on talking, but in regards to, I do get it. This year has just been completely overshadowed by Liverpool winning the title. Obviously, people will go, "Oh, it's a tainted title, it's COVID title," but that is going to be talked about because it's Liverpool's first in 30 years, and it was a title won in a pandemic. Do you know what I mean? That's not being forgotten. But I do agree with you on this one. It's just I can't. If you were to tell me now, like main points of the season, I will have to think about it because I just can't quite comprehend what's happened.
The only sort of standout one I can think of is the Villa-Liverpool game. But you think think of other sort of standout games, and I'm not going to mention any Southampton losses, but
we're top of the league.
Yeah, stop the count and all that.
It's what a season. We're going to have to really think about our season recap video, aren't we?
What's happened?
Which is happening in 8 weeks.
Football happened.
We'll be more prepared. We'll be more prepared, less tired, and less hungover. So apologies for this one.
Yes.
But no, obviously, with Chelsea losing, what do you think that does for the top 4? Because obviously Tottenham conceded late on against Newcastle. Harry Kane's still scoring goals for fun. He's drawn level with Jermaine Defoe's Premier League record, and he's done it in like 248 less games, which is ridiculous. He has to score another 20 goals a season for like 4 years or something like that, and he breaks the Premier League record.
I think he's something like 98, 97 goals off Shearer's record, something like that. And whether he stays at Tottenham or not, if he stays in the Premier League, he is going to break that record in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, no, I don't doubt that for a second. He are carrying Tottenham.
But for the top 4, it's a real tough
tricky one,
because
isn't
it does look like top 3 is sorted. But then as far down, Everton could still get top 4.
I was about to say, let's say it stays how it is and Everton play their next 2 games now and win their next 2 games, they're 4th.
Yeah, but they'd be level on points if West Ham win their game in hand, which is against Wolves tomorrow or yesterday as you're listening.
Yeah, so West Ham could be in the top, could be 4th as you're listening to this. I still think Chelsea.
Yeah, my gut feeling now is perhaps Liverpool. If they can kind of...
You reckon?
If they can kind of get a little bit more form back, and I think that they've got a very favourable run in as well. They've only got one of the sort of traditional top 6 still to play, which is Man United.
If I may interject, you could argue with Tottenham, West Ham and Everton, there's no games. There's no more games for them to play other than Premier League. Obviously, Tottenham have got a Carabao Cup final. That's a one-off game. Liverpool have potentially... Liverpool have a quarter-final, potentially a semi-final and a final that they'll want to win. Chelsea are the same. In between, what is it? They've got Porto on Wednesday, I think it is.
I think so, yeah.
Porto on Wednesday, and then they've got to play a game on Saturday, and then they've got another Champions League game on Tuesday, then they've got to play another game. Whereas Tottenham, West Ham and Everton, they are pretty much every Saturday now, I think.
The problem, though, for Tottenham is in their 8 remaining games, they've still got to play Man United, Everton and Leicester.
That's a test. That is a...
And the thing is with Tottenham at the moment, it doesn't look like it's a particularly good place to be. You're getting thrown under the bus every Sunday.
Mourinho, what was it? He said that what seems to be... He said, I'm the same manager, I just have different players. It's like, don't say that.
Yeah, well, those players got to a Champions League final, potentially probably an even worse squad than they've got now.
That's it.
You've got to remember, although most of those players aren't Mourinho signings, if he had his way at United or if he had his way at Chelsea, most of those players would have been Mourinho signings for him. I think he wanted something like 9 of the Tottenham squad. He came in and said it's an honour, he's blessed with those players, and he's throwing the same players under the bus.
I think the Athletic did a poll on would you be happy with your manager next season?
Yeah.
And Tottenham, second from bottom.
Behind Steve Bruce.
That's it.
Yeah.
Newcastle were bottom. The team above them were Tottenham. That says a lot about how he currently is with Tottenham fans and everything. If he wins the Carabao Cup, good for him. But we'll see. They are 2 points off 4th, which top 4 was written off for them not long ago because they were sitting like 9th or 8th, a fair few points off of West Ham and Chelsea. So let's not take away from the fact that he has brought Tottenham back into a top 4 challenging team. They're 2 points off 4th. Do you know what I mean? They are there. But we're talking, even though they're 2 points off, we're talking about them like they haven't got a chance in getting 4th. And that is a Mourinho effect.
Yeah, you think they're so close to that 4th place. Why isn't he saying the right things? Because they could very easily get 4th, but they could also very easily get 8th.
Yeah.
So you'll be. I think it's poor management, and that in those situations, you've seen it with all the videos of like Neil Warnock, that he'll say what he wants behind closed doors, but as soon as he's in front of a camera, he will just take every kick from the media to protect his players. And Mourinho's doing the opposite of that, and eventually, we've seen it before, he loses the dressing room. But
yeah, he tries this reverse psychology thing. I think that's what he's trying. I don't think he flat out hates his players. I don't think he likes the squad. Maybe defensively, I think Tottenham could really do better. You cannot deny their attack, and their midfield is quite solid.
Yeah.
The defence is a shambles. So I think, and that's where you look at Mourinho's defence. He's had Ramos. He's had Terry, Carvalho. All right, he had, Bailly and Joe, whatever, but he still finished second. You know, he had Inter Milan. It's like, you look at who he's had, and but look at Tottenham's attack. You know, that's world class. Bale, Son, and Kane. Come on. So regardless of defensive, okay, Tottenham aren't amazing defensive, but they should be scoring goals for fun.
Yeah,
and they have shown glimpses of attacking intent and quality. But Tottenham, Mourinho is a defensive manager, and Tottenham do not have the defence for it. They just don't.
It's the same as when he was at United, isn't it? He simply did. If you believe what was said in the papers, he was desperate for sort of top quality defenders, and he wasn't allowed to get them. So, is me being cynical? Is this his way to try and say to Daniel Levy, we need a lot of money to spend on defenders, or is it just simply not that
window to do that though? And he got in a new left back, which was needed. Tanganga's really doing well at right back, and Roden has been a revolution since he's come in. The 2 games he's played, in that game he played for Wales as well, he's been phenomenal. And I think you build a defence around Roden. I really do. I think he's absolutely brilliant. But let's talk about West Ham, Elliot, because as much as we talk about potentially, obviously, Tottenham might not get it and stuff like that, we said it, West Ham win, they're top 4. Are we really talking about David Moyes and West Ham in the Champions League next season?
I mean, why not? Because
no, I agree.
They've just been absolutely outstanding. They've overperformed performed throughout the entire season. They've always been one of them. You'd expect them to drop off at some point. You just expect them to drop off. And I know the table's saying that they're 7th, which you'd perhaps say is a slight overperformance, but not massively. But in context, they could go into the top 4 if they win tomorrow. So yeah, I don't see why not. I don't see why not at all. And you think obviously Lingard's been an absolutely incredible signing for them, and I can see that he'll be desperate. Both him and West Ham will be desperate to get a deal done in summer for him to go back, because it looks like he's enjoying his football for the first time since probably the Costa Rica game in the World Cup. But
you don't get back into the England squad, do you?
Yeah,
with, enjoying your football and actually playing for once.
But yeah, and if they're in a favourable position with 3 games to go, those 3 games are Brighton, West Brom, and Southampton. You'd fancy them in each of them, particularly if those games are meaning something for them and not the opposition.
Which is weird, because they sound like the most mid-table games. Do you know what I mean? But you don't normally see West Ham think. If West Ham do it, then they're going to need a lot of money spent on players, because they do not have a Champions League side. They just don't.
Yeah.
It's not. I think that's very fair to say. They have a couple of decent players, but a team to compete in the Champions League. Europa League pushing it. Champions League football quality? I don't think so.
In terms of Champions League, I mean, Souček has been outstanding.
Incredible, yeah. Absolutely.
I rate Kufal, right back. He's had a very good season.
Yeah.
Obviously, Declan Rice is the outstanding player in that team.
Yeah,
Lingard obviously has experience in the Champions League. But yeah, that side, Fabianski could probably get into the Champions League for a team that have had to go through qualifying and things like that.
Yeah,
but
Europa League.
Yeah. But Mikel Antonio being a starting striker in a Champions League side, I'm not sure about that, but...
No, and don't get me wrong, this isn't a dig on West Ham, because they obviously, they full on with how they've played this season and how wrong they've proved everyone, me and Elliot included. They deserve to be in that top 4, because they have been so good this season that it's like, well, where have you come from? And it almost, I don't want to sound harsh, but it'd almost be a waste if they got 4th, because
they're not going to win it.
They're not going to get, at best, they'll get put into a Champions League group where they may finish 3rd and go to Europa at best. But we've seen stranger things happen in the Champions League. Do you know what I mean? No, but if they get a group of like Spartak Moscow, Atalanta and Dynamo Zia, or whoever do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think they can. I think if they can get lucky with a group, I think they can get themselves a 2nd place and go. I mean, I think in that situation, a 3rd place is better for them, because they'd have a much better chance at progressing in Europa League. Not saying that I'd expect them to win it, but I can see them if, I mean, this is all hypothetical, but I can see them getting a 2nd place and playing a team that topped the group, playing like a Bayern Munich over 2 legs, losing like 8-1, but...
Well, Group E this year was Chelsea, Seville, Krasnodar and Rennes.
I mean, they're better. I'd say they're better than 2 of those teams.
I was going to say, take away Chelsea, so replace Chelsea with West Ham. West Ham, Seville, Krasnodar, Rennes. Oh, no, I see what you're saying. No,
just get themselves
squeezing
a 2nd
place. There, yeah.
They'd probably get a draw at home to Seville and lose 2-0 away from home.
Then you've got Dortmund, Lazio, Club Brugge and Zenit. I guess so. But
it'd be something that I'd love to see, though. I always love to see the smaller teams get into Europe, because it's like that season after Leicester won the league, Leicester in the Champions League. Did they get to quarter-finals?
Got to the quarter-finals.
Lost to Seville.
Yeah. I think if I had to pick out of those teams challenging, obviously other than Tottenham, I've got to put my non-biased hat on. I'd prefer to see Everton.
Yeah, I think I thought you'd say that. Ancelotti's doing a hell of a job there, and he's won it as well, hasn't he?
He has.
Yeah, so, I mean, he's not going to win it at Everton, most likely, but... Also, from the Athletic poll that you mentioned about, Ancelotti was number 1. I think it was something like it was something like 99.4% of Everton fans want him to stay.
Who are you replacing Ancelotti with? Come on now.
Not only is he a world-class manager, he also seems a lovely bloke, unless you're Luke Garbett.
Who? Who? So, EFL time now, Elliot. Birmingham.
Yes.
Well, fair enough. They beat Swansea 1-0 at the weekend.
It looks like they're starting to pull away a little bit.
Well, Lee Bowyer, he obviously traded in Charlton for Birmingham, which I guess you could kind of understand. League One to Championship. I'm not sure. Well, I'm not sure Charlton owners are incredible, but I would hazard a guess to say they're at least better than Birmingham, sacking their manager every 6 months. But who's to say? But no, in their last, obviously, they beat Reading, lost to Watford, beat Swansea. Their next games are Brentford, Stoke, and Rotherham. Obviously, one of those being a relegation fight out potentially if Rotherham win their games in hand. And then obviously they're spending some time in the East Midlands against Forest and Derby. Again, teams that are not relegation, I don't think, but they're still there. Can Birmingham get out of this?
I think they'll be fine. Yeah, I think they will be fine because it's Coventry that start. If anyone is going to fall into it, it looks like it will be Coventry because Rotherham, they got 4 games in hand on some teams.
They're 4 games in hand over Birmingham in particular, and they are 6 points behind them. So they win those 2 games, and Birmingham's goal difference is shocking. -21 compared to Rotherham's -10, who are in the relegation zone. So they win their next 2. It puts Coventry in, and then that leaves Birmingham 2 points outside the relegation zone. So it puts them back into trouble again.
Yeah.
They still get out of it?
I think so, just. But with talking of the bottom, big win for Derby against Luton. I think 43 points probably won't be enough to stay up, but I think that if they just keep ticking along, I expect them to be safe now.
Yeah, and then obviously could challenge for playoffs next season. That's Rooney's aim. If he brings in the players he wants, if he can. Obviously the takeover's not happened, so we'll see what happens there. Up the Rams, as Elliot will be saying next week.
And on the last week of the season. Completely unbiasedly.
One thing I do want to talk about, which I don't think we've mentioned, is Blackburn. Recently, in their last 14 games, they've lost 8. 1-2, drawn 4. That is, for me, it's difficult with COVID times and towards the end of the season. For me, that's obviously a sackable form. That is shocking form. And Tony Mowbray has been very, very well respected at Blackburn. I don't think, even with the run of form, I've not really seen too many calls for his head. Yeah, it's a shocking run of form. But who do you bring in? Who do you replace him with? Harry Redknapp?
Yeah.
Eddie Howe?
I don't know. It looks like that because they were up the top end of the table. There was the talks of playoffs, and that is just completely sort of dissipated. It's gone. I think they've scored 5 in 8 games, and so the goals have dried up. And they're safe.
And this is like Adam Armstrong, who was near top of the ratings, wasn't he? For goal, he still scored 19 goals this season, which not to be sniffed at. Like obviously Ivan Toney's running away, and Piku's slowly catching up, but Armstrong is 3rd goal scored this season. Yeah,
they all came early in the season though. Really, they lost to Wickham, who again we expect to see going down. Yep. I can't imagine that they'll make up the 9 points difference with the 7 games remaining. It would take something
considering
special.
They've played all of their games.
Yeah, so I think it's just a classic example of the players are already sort of on the beach. They're gone. They're not going up, and they've clearly known for some time they're not going up, and they were never really in any danger of going down because they're not going to go down. They're 11 points above relegation. That won't be an issue, but it's about kind of motivating them for next season now because the fans won't enjoy paying their £10 every week to watch on iFollow,
no.
and they're getting done every week, and there's no goals.
No, I agree. I don't know why I didn't. Stuart Downing still plays for them, which
okay.
I'm pretty sure I thought he was released, but he must have re-signed him.
Yeah,
but fair enough. Just took me by surprise there. But yeah, no, they're one of those, aren't they? That I would every season I'd kind of put Blackburn pushing for playoffs, but they just since they've been relegated, I've not seen, like with Stoke. Granted, Stoke for quite a little bit of this season have looked like they could potentially get playoffs, but I think that's now gone off. They sit 8 points off of the playoff spot. But with Blackburn, since they have gone down, they don't really look like they're going to ever come back up. They look like just a championship side. And this is a former Premier League winning We Hate Man United team. Morris Gantz, Pedersen, and Santa Cruz, and Brad Friedel in goal, and
great players.
Some cracking players, and there's not really much more to say. I just thought it was worth mentioning. Obviously, Blackburn.
Yeah, just dropped away.
My team, I'll mention, obviously beat Wigan 1-0. We're in the playoffs. Oh, it's like 24 hours we're in the playoffs. It was lovely to see. We're still there. I'm still slightly hoping. Oh, long ball Gillingham, who sit 14th in the long ball table. But hey ho, I don't think it's Gillingham people hate. I just think it's Steve Evans, which
it's
makes
Steve
it even
Evans.
funnier. Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't hear any of this talk when people were playing us, when A.D. Bennock was also playing like long balls. And
yeah, but that's because they were winning.
Steve Lovell. Yeah,
that's because they were beating the A.D. Bennock teams.
Oh, stop. That was I'm not sure where that came from. Was ambition to go up, and we put a Conference North manager in charge. Okay.
Yeah, it was never going to work out, was it?
No, 1-0 against Wigan, who have been taken over. The takeover has now been completed. Because I was a little bit worried about that.
Good to see.
Game. Yeah, because I was thinking, oh god, there you go. They're gonna be right up for it because they take over. Everything's all brand new. But no. Graham to Oliver. It was for Dean Oliver at school, wasn't it? You know, that usual suspect. So it's really, really good to see. Now there was a point where I was watching, obviously, the scores and seeing Hull losing to Crewe, but at the same time Sunderland and Peterborough also losing. But then Sunderland and Peterborough were maybe starting to get results, but Hull was still drawing.
Yeah, and then it was a real frustrating game because I don't want to sound too sort of big-headed, but we are better than them. On paper, you've got far better players. It's a game that we really should be winning, and one of those you really sort of grind out, but it's 90th minute winner. It's coming from behind. It would have been a hell of an away day.
Yeah, you love a 90th minute winner. I love to see it. Obviously, they still got those games in hand. Do you still envision top 2?
I think so, but it really does feel like it's 2 from 3. And I mean, the day between us recording and everyone hearing this, it is Sunderland against Peterborough. So I'm not really sure what I want from that, but I suppose there isn't a bad result from that because at least one team is going to be dropping points, whatever happens. But then we have to make sure that we beat what is a pretty poor Northampton team. They're sitting just outside relegation zone, so obviously it means something for them. They'll be right up for it, trying to stay up. But we should win. Please win.
You heard it. You heard it, old Mr. Grant McCann. If you are listening, first off, tell your friends, and second, please win.
Also, this is going to sound really bad if we lose because people aren't going to hear this before the game.
Yeah, that's going to sound desperate. But yeah, what do you... Elliot, can I tell you an interesting stat?
Okay.
Do you know why I want to tell you an interesting stat? Because I know you love stat. I know you do. We know each other for years, and I know you've always said to me, Sam, I love a good stat. When Bradford appointed youth coaches Mark Truman and Connor Sellers as joint interim managers in December, they were 4 points off the bottom of the league. In the 21 games since, they've won 12. They're now in the top half and sit 3 points outside playoffs.
Wow, that's impressive.
That is some turnaround. Isn't it? That is impressive.
Joint
there's something about two managers.
Yeah. So how do you do it? Is one a defensive manager, one's an attacking manager? Is one for home games? Is one for away games? Is it?
Well, let's think about it, Elliot. Me and you, right? We love our football. We know our football. Okay. How would you see us? How would you envision us? We're joint. Let's say we take over Alfreton Town. They sit in Conference North at the moment. They're rock bottom of the league. They say, do you know what? These podcasters, all right? They sound like they know what they're talking about with this football. I say it's very well edited, but yeah, sure, we know what we're talking about. We get the chance to take over Alfreton Town. We've got our badges. You know this scenario. How do you think me and you would do as managers? Do you reckon we'd? What?
I reckon we'd do well. I reckon we'd smash the league.
Yes, do you know what? That's it. Get it trending. Sam and Elliot for Alfreton Town.
Yeah, but I don't know what my sort of managerial style would be.
I'm sorry. I love it. I actually think we'll do. Well, can we smash the league?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're both quite defensive-minded.
I don't know. No, I thought we'd both be quite attacking.
I love to attack, but I've always... I guess I just think of that because I can't shoot. So I never attacked.
Yeah.
I was always in goal. And I did score Dempo's first ever headed goal, though. I will have that. Yeah. But I guess we know how to attack. Do you reckon we'd clash? Do you reckon we'd work well as managers?
I think we'd work well. I think I can see it being a very Paul Rayner, Steve Evans. I can see, because I will tell my players.
Who's
I
on the
will
touchline getting booked every game?
Oh, me. I'll be saying stuff. I'll be saying stuff about the ref, won't I? I'll be. Yeah, you saw. I will be, if I was in charge and I was passionate as I would be. It would be Palace away every game. It would be Palace away, Elliot, every single game. Yeah, I think it'd be great fun. I'd have a great time. I think we'd get results, and I'd be telling my players to dive. I'd be holding the ball in the corner from the 50th minute. I'd be taking 40 seconds over a goal kick in the first half.
So we would be the managers that every league team's fans would be on Twitter being like, I can't really stand.
Yeah, absolutely. But we'd be the league. Would be the ones which would be sitting top of the table. It's Neil Warnock. He get team promoted. That Cardiff team that he got promoted. I saw them home and away that season. They were awful to watch. They played awful football, but they got promotion.
No, so you would rather get promotion the dirty way than playing the nice way?
I'd rather get promotion the dirty way than not go up.
No, okay, no, I can see
it's
that.
It's a results-based business.
You would be Steve Evans, Rotherham. I think it was League 2 playoff final, whatever it was. running down that touchline, giving it all the shush to the fans and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, I'd be knee sliding.
You'd be on the touchline, and I'd be kind of sat back with the tactic board, looking out, going, "Oh yeah, no, you come in," and stuff like that. But you would be the voice.
Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah, it'd be proper. It'd be Sunday League football. It would be that type of football, I think. But if it gets Alfreton Town into the promised land of the conference, then
the promised land of the conference. Says every team. No, okay. Well, right then, let's make this our ambition from this podcast. I didn't think this would become an ambition, but we'll start a new segment of Sam and Elliot Alfreton Town managers. We'll vlog our journey to UEFA coach badges, and then we'll apply. We'll apply for the job. And then every week we'll have a Alfreton Town segment. Of the players could just listen in. We won't do a team debrief. They have to listen to throw a goal every Tuesday for them to know how they did.
Yeah, exactly.
And if you're listening, Mark, all right, striker number 9, tell your friends and shoot more. You got to attack more, Steve. Or Mark, whatever his name is. Yeah. I've now got to follow Alfreton Town on FootMob, not a sponsor yet, because I need I need to now know how they're going to do. Hold on, let me just quickly find them. I'm sure they're Conference North. Oh, they're not bottom of the league. They're second bottom of the league, but I think that league's been suspended.
Oh, okay.
Alfreton, second from bottom.
What is their nickname? I mean, they've got a weird badge. They play at the Impact Arena.
Billy Heath, we're coming for you.
Billy Heath.
Billy Heath, we're coming for you. Oh no, Andrew Clark. Oh well, Google can't even keep up with Alfreton's managers. That's how often they're just. That's how often they get.
Yeah, I think it has been suspended. Recent results. The most recent was a 3-3 draw against Kettering on the 28th of December.
Oh, Kettering.
Currently one game unbeaten.
Hey. Right then, that is full on my ambition now, is to become Alfreton Town manager with you.
Yeah.
Anyway, right, okay. That's not how I expected that to go. We just, believe it or not, everyone, we've not put Alfreton Town on our notes for this week's podcast. I only said them because they were, well, technically our Mikolova would be Mikolova Sports, I think their name is. Yeah, I think they would be the closest, but I don't know what league they play in. Mikolova Sport.
Well, my local team would be a small team called Derby County.
Oh yeah. Oh, they're in the Northern
Have you heard of them?
Premier League. John McGrath is the manager, and he actually has a Wikipedia page.
Oh wow.
He's played for Alfreton Town as well. Oh, he's been manager since 2016. Anyway, let's move on to things that people care about, not our journey to the Conference North. Before we end, obviously, we'll just do a quick preview of the Champions League. It's the quarterfinals time. We've got the first leg of the quarterfinals. One major thing I think to note is Bayern Munich PSG. Reason being is because Lewandowski is out of the game. Is it both games he's out?
Yeah, he's out for a little while. He's not expected to be back for either leg, which
I think he was injured before the England game, wasn't he, against Poland?
I think it's a big plus for Man City. Great bit of news for Man City because I now see PSG going through against Bayern Munich, a Bayern Munich without Lewandowski.
Yeah.
And I think that then puts Man City in the driver's seat of who's going to win it.
Well, let's not write off Dortmund yet, because we all wrote off Lyon, or was it Lyon or was it Lille last? It was Lyon, wasn't it?
It was Lyon.
We all wrote them off, and then Sterling decided he couldn't hit an open goal.
Yeah.
So let's not be quick to write off Dortmund. I do get what you're saying, though. Man City should be favourites for that. And you think that Man City team beats that PSG team?
I think so. I think because obviously PSG have an incredible attack, but I think the 11s, you put those 11s against each other, Man City have the better midfield, Man City have the better defence, Man City have the better goalkeeper.
Okay, yeah.
And I think they have more experience of having to control a game as well because, well, stereotypical Farmers League. It's what gets said. It's like PSG don't need to go into a game and try and control it, try and keep the ball because they're playing against teams that are considerably worse than them. Whereas Man City they're playing bigger teams more often.
Yeah, no. Okay, that's fair to say. Obviously, in regards to when you say the better defence, I was just thinking, obviously, it's Walker and Mendy, although Mendy did score yesterday. I can't really think who else is.
You could maybe say Cancelo at left back if you were wanting to go on paper their strongest defence.
Yeah, Kehrer and Diallo, I think, are PSG's starting ones. So Man City defence, I would,
Yeah, I know they've got Kazawa and who's the Italian right back that they've got? Florenzi, yeah.
Yeah, well, obviously Real Madrid, Liverpool. What are you thinking?
I maybe edge it to Liverpool because Sergio Ramos is now out of the game. I think that makes a big difference, and don't know how Real Madrid have done this weekend.
I was just looking at that because that's the reason I was asking. They won 2-0 Saturday, and with Seville beating Atletico Madrid, that leaves the title race just moves Real Madrid within 3 points of the title, with Barcelona being 4 points, and Real Madrid's next three fixtures are Liverpool in Champions League, Barcelona in the league, and then Liverpool second leg. What are they going to care about the most?
Yeah, that's a tough one because you've got to prioritise something, and I think they maybe prioritise the league because that's looking a lot more realistic than the Champions League.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Chelsea-Porto, I would have easily said Chelsea will smash that. I still think they'll win, but it's made me semi-doubt.
Yeah, but then could it then be? How many times do you see it that a team get comfortably beaten and then they come back sort of with a vengeance and come back and turn over the next opposition? But
yeah,
it has kind of put that sort of grain of doubt into people's heads now, though. They're not looking, well, they're not unbeatable.
No, and if Porto can produce what they did against Juventus, again, anything is completely possible. I love the Champions League. I love football. There's nothing really much more to say. I think that's a good place to lead into your no context news to end the podcast, if that's okay, Elliot.
Yeah.
I do a pun. Elliot does a news headline. It's Elliot's turn this week, so he's found a random news headline. I don't know what it is. He's going to say it, and we're going to end the podcast. So, Elliot, take it away and end it when you are ready.
Yes, so mine it's international this week. It is, headline simply reads, a suspected Italian gangster was caught after police recognised him in his YouTube cooking videos. So
I heard about that. That came up on the news. He was a gangster mafia boss that was posting cooking videos on YouTube.
I love it. It's quite heartwarming.
I could just imagine the police officer subscribed to him thinking nothing of it, and he's walked into work one day, seeing his wanted poster and gone, I've seen him. I've seen him do ravioli. Cupcakes.
Yeah.
He does. You want to arrest him and be like, go on, give me the recipe.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's no context news. That's where we'll end the episode. So thank you very much for listening. We're on everything. You know by now we're on everything. But yeah, I've been Elliot.
I've been Sam.
And we'll speak to you next week.
Yep, see you next week. Tell your friends. Bye.
Bye-bye.